Women these days are drawn back by the term submit because even it's a biblical term. It's not a bad word. It's not a harsh word. But the very notion of submitting to someone who has possibly hurt you or verbally abused you, or you submitted to game and this guy had 5 wives and stuff like that. I read through the comments, and it kind of drew a lot of women back. A lot of women were very, very drawn back by it. And I think the issue is that women are submitting to a man's potential and not his already revealed and in the works prime. Like he's already stepped into that potential that has been made manifest. Like, in other words, a woman will say, all right, he's a cool dude. He don't have a job now, but he said he got a interview next week, and his cousin works for the company. He gonna be a manager and blah blah blah. And he got a car, but his aunt, she gonna give it to him, and he gonna take over the payment, and his crib. He got a crib, but he's trying to straighten out his mortgage, or he just moved out his mama. So that's potential. He has potential. He's not well polished. He's not already financially established. His child support payments is on time or whatever. But that's a man that has potential. And women have been drawn into submitting to a man's potential, hoping that potential will then grow and not just be a potential, but be something that this man is already operating in, and she is able to just come alongside. Now, they both have baggage. He have baggage, she have baggage, but they have come along each other's side, and she said, I can deal with that. I can submit to that. And he says, I can submit to her, because submission is supposed to be a two-way street. And that's why I think a lot of women were drawn back by Fantasia's comment, because they like, all right, submit, and then what is he supposed to do? Does he just drag me by the hair like a caveman and just bang me out here and there, and then I wash the dishes? And the idea is she's supposed to be submitting to his love. I took a accredited class at the New York School of the Bible. Shout out to them in Manhattan, across the street from Carnegie Hall. And the class on marriage, accredited, I'm talking accredited, taught me, because I've also failed in this area terribly. I failed in thinking that a woman is supposed to submit to my knowledge, or my my good looks, or my speaking ability, when in the primary thing that a woman is drawn into submitting to, makes her more willing to submit, is the man's love. What do you mean? Come on, that's too broad. Of course he loves her. No. What makes a woman want to submit and desire to submit and love to submit is that this man loves her so much that she feels in her heart and her soul that everything this man is telling her, advising her, is out of his love. And it's not just because he loves her, it's because what he's telling her is beneficial for her. She's submitting to his mission for them as a couple, and possibly a family that they're going to raise. And maybe he has a child, he got 2 kids and she has 1, or I don't know what the situation is. But a lot of women these days are submitting to a man with no mission. So she's submitting to a man with no plan. She's submitting to a man with a plan, but that plan is, it's unrealistic at the time. Maybe he should reset his goals and have like 5 small goals, and like a bunny rabbit, jump to each goal together so that it's more obtainable, it's more realistic. his vision. It's easy for her to come alongside of him and they can jump into it. But I think a lot of women are drawn back. Like one of the women, she said after in Fantasia's comment, she said, submit to what? You know, submit to his what? You know, his loud voice, submit to his good looks, submit to his sexual ability. You know, obviously, and you know, I'm just assuming that this woman has tried to submit to someone who was not worth or who could not acknowledge. See, the problem is too is that a lot of men, unfortunately, I'm not talking about the brothers, a lot of men aren't they aren't capable of receiving a woman's submission, which means once a woman opens up her heart and she submits to you, mind, body, and soul, you're then, my brother, supposed to then take that woman and cultivate, you know, that love back towards God. Like, you're not supposed to like take it all and everything you want her to do, she does it, and that's how you get your ego boost, and you see that you got sexual control over her, and you got emotional control over her. You can make her happy, you can make her sad, you can make her worry, you can make her feel like you're gonna step out one minute, you can make her, you know. So a man has to be very careful in how he deals and handles that woman's submission, because every time a man mishandles a woman's submission and then she, you know, they break up, she's that less more likely to submit to another man. And you don't want that to happen, because, you know, as this world breaks down and marriages begin to, you know, disintegrate, and, you know, so it's just the word, and we just have to be careful. Both the man and the woman are supposed to submit. So if y'all want the biblical, you know, pretense on it, the biblical thing is that they're both are supposed to submit. She submitted to his love, and he's submitting to her needs. She has a need to be spiritually inspired. She has a need to feel protected. She has a need to feel financially protected. You know, financial security is one of the top 3 concerns for a woman. You know, while a man would want it to be sex, that he just got good sexual ability. Even above sex, a woman's sexual performance is better when she feels both loved and made to feel beautiful, and when she feels more financially secure. So, you know, I learned a few of these things, and still trying to, you know, I'm not a pro at it, but I think Fantasia, you know, I don't even know if I'm curious if the comment that she made was based on her maybe she got into a new relationship and she submitted to this man, and they're thriving, and now she's just telling all the ladies, yo, submit. But a lot of ladies may not have the man that you submitted to. Maybe, you know, you found success in your submission. But a lot of women are just careful at this point, like I'm sure you were, Fantasia, but they're careful not to just go submitting to anyone. And it's, you know, now women, wait, Quinta advice, don't go out there and just be so closed to the possible, you know, man that will take your submission. Now, you're supposed to be submitting to him as he submits to God, remember. Now, you don't just go, but don't go and be so closed up and hardened to where you're unable to even fathom the idea of submitting. I wouldn't. So it's a balance, women. It's a balance, you know, and I think women in here in 2019, going into 2020, they have to be even more wise, and they have to be more spiritually in tune, and they have to be even more, you know, in tune with who they are and what they want, and how to find a man that is I'm not, I want to say submit worthy, but find a man that our Creator may want them to submit to. And then the mistake, I know a young lady, she submitted to a man, and they hadn't been married, and she gave him marriage submission without them being married. So women, before you get married, y'all two are a team. Y'all could be a team, y'all could be business partners, and y'all two could do a lot of things together. But there's the way a wife should submit to a husband. If he's not your husband yet, then not say you gotta have an attitude and tell him put a ring on it, whatever. But you just have to be wise, and both of you have a good time together, and God will show y'all to whether or not you should take it that next level to submission, as a wife should submit to a husband, and a husband should submit to a wife. A husband has got to learn to submit to a wife too. Maybe Fantasia, I think she should have said that too. Yes, there are a lot of hardened, hurt, misunderstood women, damaged goods or goods that haven't been damaged, but they're just careful in who they submit to. Yes, that's true. But on the other hand, there are a lot of men who have taken advantage of a woman's ability to submit, or women who have submitted in a way that they should not have too soon. Maybe they were trying to show him, like, look, I can do it, and she actually gave him that kind of wifey submission, and either he wasn't really ready for it, he took advantage of it, or he had 3 other women giving him that type of submission and she never knew. So he drained all of her soul. I feel some of you women who have commented, I'm in a group called the 40 and Over group, and I just felt like the souls of women, being snatched out of them by a man that they, every time a woman opens up sexually to a man and submits sexually, she's like, he takes away a part of her, and he has power over her because he has gone into her, and now she's in submission, and she doesn't even know it. She feels like he belongs to her and she belongs to him, and it just does something, metaphysically, that a lot of women can't understand. And when she does that and then they break up, the word submission just rings a whole bunch of bells, a whole lot of sirens in her head, and she remembers it. So my advice to a lot of you women is to get back on track, and mentally, spiritually, and psychologically, so that you are able to discern who is, who you should submit to. If the man doesn't have if he doesn't have a plan, an obtainable plan, a plan that God will be appealing to God's eyes, then that should be a concern of yours. If he doesn't, if he's not capable or show any, if you're a single mom, you have 1 or 2 children, if he's not capable of raising those kids, sitting down with them, reading them a scripture or something like that here and there, loving them like how God would love them, then that's something that you should be concerned about. If he driving your car and not putting no gas in it, or he don't have his own, and he just credit is jammed up, and he's got no type of, not saying that he gotta have one, but if he doesn't have anything to offer, but then so the issue is, one of the issues is that there's just more women, and a lot of men will disagree, but I believe that there's more women in this day and time that are available and in good standing and are wife material than there are men that are able for a woman to submit to. She can submit to him whether he's able or not, but she's going to be damaged, and then he's just going to move on and continue to draw other women who are submitting to him, and he's not able to handle it. He takes advantage of it, and so on and so on. So Fantasia, you might have hit, struck some nerves. Maybe some of those nerves should be struck. Maybe some of that. Now, I'm not talking about you women who are married and the man is doing and loving you like God wants him to, and you just don't want to submit because of what you see what's going on in the culture, or you got friends that's telling you this and that or whatever, that's something different. I think you two should go to counseling and not be afraid of counseling or ashamed of it. Don't even worry about the word counseling. Just go and seek somebody that can come alongside of you who's non-biased and help you out. So that's Quint's advice on submission. So women, understand that you are supposed to be submitting to his love for you, his love for God, his ability, not just potential, but his already ignited ability and expressed ability to love you and act in his vision for you and the family. I mean, put it into action. He's already there, or well on his way. Not too far away, but well on his way. And, you two have a good time until that has manifested itself. So, once again, I love all y'all like dark chocolate and red wine. And like and subscribe. And just understand that all of Quint's advice is made from, the advice comes not from Quint, but from God through Quint. So this is advice that I offer. I don't come for anybody. I don't do that. I don't do subs or anything like that. Everything that I'm giving you is out of either painful experience, because most of us learn from painful experiences, and so I offer it to you. My advice is not given to you because I'm perfect. My advice is given to you because I've made some bad choices and some imperfect decisions, and I'm giving you the lessons from them. So don't look for perfection when you see Quint out in the street or anywhere else. Look for somebody that can keep it real with you on all points and just give you advice that will most likely benefit you if you apply it in the right way. God bless.